Hello and welcome to today's lesson. We're going to learn how to create subscript and superscript effects. We'll be using them in irregular text as well as in mathematical formulas, where they're much more likely to appear. You can see a document containing a paragraph and some elements from the previous lesson. Frequently used superscript can be created using the SUP element. Keep in mind that SUP is a paired tag. For example, I'd like to add a footnote with further information about airport terminals. First, let me show you how to create a superscript in the number 1 right after the word busiest. Start by creating an empty SUP element. Next, type the number 1 between both tags. Anything you type between the tags will be superscripted. In our case, it's only the number 1. Let's look at the result in a browser. Notice the superscripted number 1, which appeared immediately following the word busiest. Now it's time to create the actual note. I'll place the cursor under the article and repeat the previous steps. As you can see, I'm creating superscripted number 1 using the SUP element. Next, simply type the text of the note or paste it from clipboard. After we refresh the page, we can see the old article with a new footnote. Let's move on to creating the subscript effect. Subscripted characters are mostly used in mathematical and chemical formulas. However, there may be a time when we want to use subscripted characters in irregular text. In our note, I'd like to subscript terminal numbers 1 through 3. You can create subscript using the SUB element. I'll enclose the number 1 into the opening and closing SUB tag. Next, I'll do the same for the number 3. Let's refresh the browser and look at the result. As you can see, terminal numbers are now subscripted. Let me remind you that both subscript and superscript effects can be achieved using CSS. To demonstrate all features of SUB and SUP elements, I'll show you how to nest them within each other. By nesting these elements, we'll achieve an even smaller size and larger indentation. Now I'd like to indent the number 1 up one more level. I'll insert one more SUP element into the current element SUP element. The number of the note is now enclosed in 2 SUP elements altogether. When we refresh the browser, we can see that the indentation became larger and the size of the number a bit smaller. The more SUP elements you use, the more obvious the difference in font size and indentation will be. The effect will stand out even more when formatting longer texts. You probably expect that nesting SUB elements will have the exact same effect. I'll demonstrate the first and second level of indentation on the number 3. It's very simple. I'll just enclose the current SUB element into another one. Let's refresh the browser. As you can see, there's a slight difference between the first and second level subscript. As I already mentioned, subscripts and superscripts aren't very common in regular texts. You're much more likely to come across them in mathematical, physical, or chemical formulas. I'll replace our article with a formula for nth term of the geometric sequence. It's a little complicated, so I'll rather paste it from the clipboard. If you look at the formula in a browser, you'll probably agree that it doesn't look very good. Let's make it look better. I'd like to subscript the letter N and also the number 1. To do that, I'll enclose both characters into SUB elements. Let's refresh the browser and look at the result. It's much better, isn't it? Now I'd like to superscript the exponent of the number Q. I'll enclose the whole n-1 expression into the SUP element. Let's check to see if the result displays correctly. As you can see, the formula has finally taken a true mathematical shape. In this lesson, you learned how to use elements for creating subscripted and superscripted text. We didn't just format irregular text, but also worked on a mathematical formula. Thank you for joining me, and I'll look forward to seeing you the next time.